Hotline, a place for everyday community members to be heard and share their personal experiences with the youth. I'm your host, Bob Fang, and today we have Jared. Why don't you introduce yourself?
All right, I hope you guys can hear me. My name is Jared Izzy Mathis, Izzy for short for my students and my colleagues. 31 years old, and I am a choreographer, dancer, producer in Los Angeles.
I love that. Tell us one lie, two truths.
One lie, two. Are you gonna guess?
Yeah, I will. I'll guess. I'll guess.
Okay. Let's see. I have a cat. I've lived in New York, and I met Debbie Allen, my idol.
Okay. Hey, you don't have a cat.
Yes, sir. I'm a dog guy. But I am producing and choreographing a show called Cats. So,
Okay. Are you guys gonna throw like a bunch of cats for the opening intro?
no, but that'd be hilarious. That'd be really awesome. And then the audience would just like run out the theater and like, no, we're never coming here again. So yeah, maybe.
I love that. All right, let's dive into some deep questions. Just get it started. Tell us, what are three defining moments in your life, and how do they impact you?
Okay, three defining moments. All right, get ready, kids. We're gonna go a little deep. So the first defining moment was probably when my grandmother passed away. She was my best friend, and she passed away when I was about 12 years old. And so yeah, it was really hard losing her and not having an opportunity to say goodbye, and um, I guess feeling for a long time like I missed out on an opportunity because I had the opportunity to go see her while she was in the hospital when I was younger, to go, check on her and things, and I was just so scared. And yeah, so once all of that happened and we had our funeral and things like that, um, I don't know, I kind of felt like I missed on an opportunity, right? Very important opportunity. And so moving forward, I decided I wouldn't do that any longer. So I started to take on opportunities as they came, and if they were a match to me and my state of mind and where I was at the time, I would stick it out. But if it wasn't, how do you say, if it wasn't congruent, you feel me? Like if it didn't match, then yeah, congruent. Like if it didn't match what I was going through, then I couldn't be around it. So definitely that period. And then fast forward, I would say my last relationship. I was in a relationship with someone, and they were also a director, producer, artist, and it was going really cool. Like meeting someone like-minded, of a similar caliber, who had an equal amount of passion for their skills and the things that they wanted to accomplish, their dreams. And yeah, everything was really awesome. But there came a time, because we worked on projects together, and so there were times where there were behaviors that they displayed with our performers that I didn't necessarily agree with. So there would be a lot of conversations on behavior and communication, and really getting your message across to someone without it being hurtful, or without it being needing to tear them down. So a lot of the times when I work with my students, I'll play with them. I'll break them down a little bit, but it's always to build them back up. I break down their insecurities. Like sometimes we'll have insecurities. We'll have things that are holding us back that we have to really take a look at, recognize, acknowledge, okay, and then you gotta decide if you're gonna do something about it or not. And so with all of that said, I decided it's probably best I just move on to the next thing. So that relationship ended, and yeah, that was that. And then another redefining moment. Sorry, sorry, y'all, but my father passed away recently, and that's a whole just how like shift in the house. And I'm the eldest of my siblings. There's about six, seven of us, and six of us in our household. And yeah, once he passed away, me being the eldest, I was like, okay, like obviously there's a shift occurring, and I'm gonna have to be this person to, make decisions or, just help everyone as best as I can. So a lot of the time, right now, I'm like taking on like a new helm in my family, and it's almost like a level up in a weird way, where I'm being forced to take on these new challenges, but at the same time, I'm welcoming them because I feel like we all have a duty in this lifetime, and you can only you gotta roll with the punches. Gotta roll with the punches.
Gotta roll with the punches. Thank you for sharing. Obviously, as we move on to the topics, I'm going to ask you more in detail. If at any point, you don't feel comfortable, just be like, yo, Bob, I don't want to share any of that. Okay. So this isn't like one of those shows where I'm like, gotcha. Yeah. It's more like whatever you want to share, you can share, but I appreciate you sharing those things.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of which, then let's go right into the first topic of the day. Let's go into education then. We'll start light before we jump into the deeper stuff. Tell us,
Appreciate it.
who are you in high school?
Who was I in high school? Ooh, okay. So I went through several stages in high school. So I was the kind of guy, very shy when I first got into high school as a freshman. I had my friend group from middle school because we all ended up going to the same high school. But I don't know. I just always had this propensity to spread my wings and meet other people and expand my horizon. And then I will say, once dance entered my life, I had a whole different friend group because dance brings out a side of you that you're not necessarily having the forefront. Especially, and it's really strange how a lot of shy, introverted people are dancers.
Personal story. Explain that. Go into detail about that.
Okay, sweet. So, well, as far as like, my shyness and stepping into dance and how it changed me.
Yeah. Tell us like
Okay.
a personal story on how that on that transition or a specific moment.
Okay. Well, before I got into the high school, I was already kind of feeling around that I enjoyed dance. But as I said, I was very shy, so I wasn't shouting to the rooftop, I'm a dancer, and all these different things. And to be honest, at the time, it was looked down upon for men to wear that title of dancer or to like go train and dance. It was taboo still. Like I grew up in the '90s and then early 2000s, so there was still some parts of the community that weren't accustomed to the arts being um, such a, I guess, like a prominent spotlight type activity like basketball or sports or things like that. But yeah, so once I got to high school, already knowing that I kind of wanted to dance, I took dance class instead of PE. I didn't want to do PE, but I had the opportunity to take what was it? I want to say it was an African dance class, and it was a college credited class, and I got a chance to work with a world-renowned choreographer who was already like he was working with Beyonce at the time, so that was like so freaking dope. And I guess to have him as a teacher, um, and then him letting me know I had the potential, I had the ability, like I could do this. It definitely supported my dream to learn how to dance and become a dancer. Um, yeah, yeah. And to be honest, I've been feeling very lucky throughout my lifetime just because of the different people I've had the opportunity to meet and work with. Because it definitely changed the course of my life because it let me know like, oh snap, like you've met this person, they say you can do this, like maybe you can reach where they're at. So now I'm at the same age I met my teacher, and although I haven't choreographed for Beyonce, I've definitely been able to do some pretty awesome choreographic works and expand my horizons. So yeah, definitely feel fortunate for that.
Are you originally from LA?
Yes, sir. Born and raised.
Got it. Got it. So, kind of just building on the timeline then from middle school, when you mentioned that your grandma passed. I guess like, can you tell us that personal story about how that affected you, or you mentioned you were scared going to the hospital.
Yeah, I was very terrified to like yeah to be there. It was just this tall hospital building, and I just sensed like she was on the upper floor looking down, and I was in the car like I cannot do it. I can't. But it was heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. Like my best friend just gone. Right. Like how do you process that? Um, and I'm not gonna lie. I still tap back into those times and kind of feel my inner child in that moment. But maybe I don't think I actually I don't think I've worked through it. Actually, I think I used it as a way to build myself up. Recognizing like our time is limited because after my grandmother passed, like my great grandmother, which was her mother, followed suit, and then my uncle, which was her brother, followed, and so like all these people. And this is getting a little deep. Sorry, y'all. Well, all these people in my life when I was younger, like very close to me, that like raised me and things like that. All of them were just kind of fading off, and so, um, and I think at the rate that it was happening, I don't think I really had time to process it. Um, wow, yeah, that's deep. But
Okay.
where I was with my father, jumping forward, where I was with my father, like because I'm older and I think I had all those experiences, I was able to kind of process that experience a lot differently, um, stepping into like a responsibility more than um, waiting around to just grieve and go through that process. I kind of just snapped into it and I just had to keep going.
Why don't you educate the kids on that? Like I know a lot of kids that they lose their father or their mother in high school while they're in school.
Yeah.
What are some tips, or from your personal experience, like how do you move through that? What's like the first week like, the first month like?
Whew. Well, luckily I had work with my father. I had work to drown out any thoughts I was having. But I went into a state of personal development and just started to um, remember the things that they taught me and really just tap into focusing on how I can continue to improve myself, although they're not there. And how can I support myself knowing that they're not necessarily around, but still holding all the wisdom that they gifted me definitely gets me going and moves me forward. And I never feel like I'm without them at all, like without their love or without their gratitude or without their inspiration. I never feel like I'm without, and so I think keeping always keeping them close, always keeping that memory, the love, the energy that you received from them. If you keep that and hold it and support it within yourself, I think that'll definitely help you through. It's gonna get tough, you guys. Like life gets really tough, and you can take them as defeats and be like woe is me, or you can take them as lessons and use them to continue to propel forward, because trust me, you're going to revisit a lot of the lessons you experience at another time just to see if you were paying attention the first time. So always pay attention, you guys. You always always pay attention.
That's deep. That's deep. For the what are top two life lessons your dad taught you that stuck around?
Top two lessons. Okay, so here's one that my grandfather passed to him. He passed to me. That I'm passed to y'all. Okay, and you can relate this to any way you would like, but don't let a moment of pleasure turn into a lifetime of regret. So that could be with food, that could be relations, that could be with whatever you want it to be with. But don't let a lifetime, yeah, don't let a moment of pleasure turn into a lifetime of regret. And then I think the other lesson would be just protect your family. Protect your family, regardless of the insanity you may feel like they're putting you through. You know, tough it out, or be patient. Be patient, and lead with love. But all, yeah, protect your family. Keep your family's best interests at heart.
So for the don't let a moment of pleasure ruin a lifetime of regret. You've been following that, or you got a personal story on how you didn't follow that?
Hmm. I mean, I typically follow. I typically follow it. Yeah, but that's how I got to where I'm at. Like, I have not experienced much conflict in my lifetime, you guys. I haven't experienced too much turmoil. Like the struggles that I experience are like self propagated, because I see myself as an entrepreneur at heart, and I'm doing my best to lead this entrepreneur life. And it can get a little in the gutter. But I always remain humble for the experience. I always remind myself that I chose what I'm experiencing in a way, and then I kind of always just remind myself that it's a life experience. I wouldn't be experiencing it if I wasn't supposed to. It's kind of how I go through it. But yeah, no, I don't. I don't. I avoid the lifetime of regrets.
I love that. All right, let's move on to the next topic, which is love. Tell us, what is love?
Yes, I saw this on the last podcast. Okay, and it's my definition, right? Okay. Um, love is unconditional. Love is unconditional, and that's a really hard thing to have to. It's a really hard concept to bear, because love, not the opposite of love is hate, right? Or not even the opposite. We could say it, the other side of the same coin is hate, because the only way people can be so infuriated or hateful towards another is if they actually love you or have some propensity of love towards you. And so yeah, it's that unconditional tip. You'll flip flop between the two, but I feel like as long as you remember to lead, like I said, lead with love and embody all the different ways that love is shown and shared and provided for other people. See, like show, share, provide, protect, um, um, invite people. Like you gotta give and receive, and finding that balance of, I guess, finding the balance within like the boundaries you may set for yourself with other people, but still be in that unconditional love. Like, yeah, it's gonna be a process, you guys, and it's a lifelong journey. But I promise you, if you practice unconditional love with your friends and your family and even strangers, you'll receive it back 2 times. Okay, and another thing, love is love. Well, can I flip it? Can I say like God is love?
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is your
God is
story, man.
love.
This is your story. Speak your truth.
Yes, sir. God is love. So, we're all here, we're all connected, and we all have a purpose. It's just about finding it and mastering our own walk of life. But within that walk, we end up meeting people like complete strangers who become best friends, right? We end up meeting teachers who become mentors. We end up meeting our inspirations who become our colleagues, or how have you, yeah. But um, it's God experiencing life through all of us. So as you meet a person, you're meeting yourself, but in another form, right? Or you're meeting a part of yourself in another form. And although you guys may not share this a similar story, like although me and Bob may not be born the same year, share the same story, like somehow look at how we have come together and are creating this experience for you all. So yeah, God is love, and if you feel like you're in a space where God's with you, know you're protected and guarded and loved, and you're being looked out for, and at the same time you want to turn over that love and grace and protection to other people.
God is love. I love that. Who was your first love?
Ha. Let's see. Who was my first love? I want to say Janet Jackson because the way she was moving, bro. I was like, yo, that's fire. No, definitely, I definitely got introduced to dance for watching like Janet Jackson music videos. I saw her Velvet Rope tour when I was like 9 years old. Crazy time, but no, yeah, that's that. So yeah, my first love was dance, absolutely, and then I met a girl in high school. We became best friends over time, but it was like a love at first sight kind of thing, like legit, you guys. She was standing there. She had this white jacket on, but the sun was reflecting, and she just looked like an angel. And I was like, "Oh man, who is that?" And then my bro, he was in the lunch line with me. I was like, "You know who that is?" He's like, "Oh yeah, that's such and such." I don't want to name drop, but he was like, "Oh yeah, that's such and such." I know her friend. Like, I can introduce you. I was like, "Yeah, let's do that." Wait, no, wait, no, don't do that. But no, I ended up meeting her in the lunch line, and um, just been friend. Like we would talk on the phone all the time, man. Like I don't. There's no one I could talk on the phone with like her. We're still good friends. Still talk on the phone for hours. But yeah, we'd be on the phone for hours. I would go hang out with her after school. Like her parents were cool because I'm respectfully so. Gentlemen, you got to be a gentleman off top, okay? But yeah, the parents, I would hang out with them, her and the parents, and yeah, we just kind of built this relationship over time. Graduated together. We'll go visit each other in college and things like that, and yeah, just best of friends. She's getting married soon, not to me, but I encourage it. Such is
All
life,
right. So
right?
let's fast forward to your most recent breakup then, since that was a defining moment for you.
All
Uh,
righty.
tell
Yeah.
us that personal story.
Okay. All right. So this was a male partner actually. So switch up, and we met, went out and got coffee, talked, and then went to the movie, hung out and such, and then started sharing each other's dreams and decided to work on each other's projects. I mostly worked on his projects because I wanted to study musical theater. And mind you guys, when I got in that relationship, I told myself and I spoke to God about it, and I was like, I'm only doing this for the experience. I want to know what this is, and I just want to experience it. So I good, bad, like I took it all, you guys, until I could not take no more. But I'm not gonna go like too detailed, but I kind of want to paint the picture of like what we experienced. That was at a time I started meditating, and I was really trying to free myself from like my past failures, I guess you could say, or feeling like I wasn't moving at the time. And so I ended up meeting this person and joining their projects. And we were like touring in downtown LA. And then we ended up buying this 1972 Chevy G10 van off of someone on Facebook Market, and like loaded up the van and drove it across the country to New Jersey from California. And it was like a 5-day trip, but that was so awesome. I got a chance. I think I went through about 14 states there, and about like 16, 17 on the way back. And that was a really eye-opening experience. I was 25 years old, so it wasn't that long ago. And oh yeah, it was so eye-opening to see how different the country is in literally in different sections or sectors of this land we call the United States of America. Um, Whew, that was a whole. That's a whole try. That's a whole other. We gotta talk about that a whole another time. That's a whole other trip. But we make it there in 5 days. That's a you and I conversation. But we make it there in 5 days. As soon as we get there, he has to go on a job. Like as soon as we get there, he has to go on a job. So we were in New Jersey for like a month. Every single day was like job, rehearsal, show, job, rehearsal, like just in a month, craziness. And so he was doing most of the like gigs, but while I was there, I was observing. Like I said, I went in the experience so I could learn that industry, musical theater. And so I would work with the theater company he introduced me to, and I ended up being there even after he and I ended our relation. I ended up working there, gaining experiences through them. I then helped produce a gala. I helped produce like several productions and just really tapping in, and I say that to say, you don't really know where life is going to take you unless you decide like I'm gonna just go for the ride. And you guys, like, going for the ride is scary. It is it is so scary, but you find a strength in the journey. You find a strength within yourself. And especially at that time, I promised myself I would finish what I started, because I realized before then I had the ability to not finish what I started. And so I promised myself, I said, I'm gonna finish this. And so we did that trip to Jersey, did the trip back, came back to LA. We had a show we started mounting out here, working on some projects out here. And then one day he just decided, oh, I think I'm gonna head back home. And so then I ended up moving to New Jersey, and I stayed there for about 6 to 8 months. And that's when I got to work with the theater company and produce those shows and things like that. And so that was a really awesome experience. And yeah, I really just started self-educating myself. Like, I had a job at Urban Outfitter. I left, you guys, because I was sitting in the fitting room, and I don't know, I was just feeling some type of way, but I was sitting in the fitting room. That was my station, and I was just sitting there, and I was like, if I died today, and they asked me where was I would say I'm in the fitting room of Urban Outfitter. Would that make me happy? No. So I quit later that day. And I've been on pursuit for my business, Artistic Mastery Collective, which is a dance production company that I've been building since like 2018. But I officiated around 2022, so last year. And yeah, I've been taking my time just building and growing that asset.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. So I know that's a little all over the place. My bad.
No, I get it. I mean, from what I gathered was that, you were in this relationship. It was a learning experience from you at the end of the day.
Yes.
All the way across the country, so many memories. So I think
Yes.
the lesson. What lesson would you give the kids? What lesson do you want them to learn from that story?
Finish what you start, regardless of who goes with you or without you.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
Because you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for other people.
Love that. Let's move to the last topic of the day.
Yes, sir.
Which is money.
Okay.
Tell us, what is money?
Money is a currency, an exchange of.
Okay, light. I see it.
Yeah, I had to pull out the charger. Yeah. Money is a currency. It's an equal exchange of value. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but they say our dollar is losing its values. So that's a very interesting note to take with you as you guys continue like the next 10 years and are living life observing. They're saying that our dollar is losing value. So moving forward, probably going to have to figure out new ways to exchange monies. One for me has I've used or I've equated energy as money, or time as money in a sense, because it's an exchange. You're giving up one thing for another, and I've given up time and energy. Like I used to do this dance thing for no money. You guys, right? I worked for free for quite a while, and I got to a point where my talent and my work ethic and my pursuit for my dream, I guess you could say. I'm gonna stick with that wording. But my pursuit for my dream uh, enabled me to make it a lucrative experience as well. Yeah, so it's an exchange of energy for sure.
Got it. Got it. Why don't you? So what is your highest ambition in life?
My highest ambition in life right now is to, and I know it's gonna change later, but um, support my village, right? Like support my tribe, support my people. And so what does that mean for me? I have family, I have friends, I have colleagues, I have a network. Um, I meet people all the time, such as Bob here. And, for me, it's being able to support those people. In order to support those people, I got to support myself. So right now I aspire to reach like, thousandaire, millionaire, billionaire status at some point, right? Like that. And I feel like that's a nice lofty goal because what is it? Especially speaking about money, like that's to be a millionaire doesn't mean to have $1 million. It means to sustain a lifestyle where like millions may be like the bracket you're in, but you're able to, I guess, continually um, create that currency, right? So I would definitely like to get up there because I don't know of too many like millionaire choreographers or millionaire dancers or you know what I mean, like
K-Fed?
in the, what was that?
K-Fed?
Oh, psh, he married into that. Nah, yeah, we can talk about that. That's another conversation. um, but no, yeah, like in my line of work thus far, I've yet to meet like um a dancer or choreographer just by themselves without a partner, without a marriage. You feel me? Because like that, I think that matters. Like your individual status, financially, matters because then it's who can you assist from that point, right? So for me, that would be my family first. Um, Friends when we feeling friends when we feeling like we love each other. No, I always got my friends. I always got my friends. But yeah, family, then friends, and then my colleagues, my students. Being able to provide opportunities like a weekend trip to a dance studio, or they get on a bus and go to a professional studio for a free dance day, or my colleague he takes our students to see Broadway shows in downtown. So being able to like afford opportunities for other people or support them in their time of need, for me is definitely a big goal of mine.
Love
Definitely
that.
a big goal. Yeah, like, I want
Tell
to
us,
support thousands of people.
kind-hearted, such a big heart. Tell us, for the dancer that's moving to LA, since you're originally from there,
Yeah.
uh, how do they move up the ladder? How do they get jobs? What's the sauce?
Well, okay, so
First year, what's the first year as a dancer? Let's say they've already kind of been dancing. We're not talking about like a complete beginner, like
okay, like they have some training, or they grew up training in a studio, or they've
yeah,
crossed the threshold from like high school into young adult. How can
let's say
they?
they had some ballet and they've taken some hip hop classes from
Yeah.
home, but they're not you know like LA hip hop beginner. I think that's like a totally different level.
Well, LA and New York are pretty similar, where they're like hubs for dancers. So the dancers gravitate to those places for the particular styles that they offer. So out here in LA, um, people are more so into commercial dancing once they get out here. So they'll train at like Millennium Studio or up in North Hollywood. A lot of dancers and artists hang out over there because that's where the studios are at. So they try to be really close to the studios. But I would say first coming in, I definitely just jump into dance class and make friends because that's where you're gonna find out where all the what's going on and what's popping through the other dancers who are already in the area or in the studios. They'll have bulletins and let you know of auditions. Um, and then I guess also start thinking about the direction you want to take your dance. So for me, I knew I wanted to be a choreographer, but I felt like in order for me to be a choreographer, I needed to know how to dance. So I took myself through training as a dancer, so I can have the linguistics and technical skills to communicate it to other dancers. Um, but from what I'm seeing, there's so many different opportunities in dance. You have dance coaches. You can work with non-dancers and teach them how to dance, which I've done before. You can work with kids, or you can shoot for the stars and try to get into the videos and the concerts and things. But that is a challenge, okay? And I'll say if you're trying to do that, you want to talk to the choreographers and teachers, and whichever choreographer their movement you like, and you know that they're booking or things like that, you want to jump into their classes, like get in the front, be consistent, let yourself be known to them. Don't say like I'm here for a job, but be like, just let them know you're interested in them. Okay, be more interested than interesting. I forget who says that. Dale Carnegie, I believe. But yeah, be more interested in what they're doing rather than trying to make them interested in you. Because by you being interested in them, then they're going to be interested in you because you've taken a liking to who they are and not what they do, what they can do for you.
So to book, so your strategy is more jump in the dance classes, network, meet the dancers that or the choreographers the style that you like, not the
Hmm.
traditional style of signing up for LA casting or backstage and going to local auditions.
You can do that. That's definitely do that as well. I'm gonna say do that as well. Like there's no one right like foot in the door. It's kind of like getting where you can fit in. So I like my me personally. I have not. This sounds so crazy when I say it every single time. I have not used a resume to get a job. It has been off of like networking and conversation and making myself available in the capacity that I'm needed. So I just left from a rehearsal. What was that, about an hour, 45 minutes ago? So I had a rehearsal 4 hours. Uh, we're doing a production of Cats, and I'm the co-choreographer for that. When I first started working with them, my first gig with them was a stage manager. I didn't even let the director. I let him know I could do choreography, but he had choreographers. But so I was like, well, you need help. Where do you need help? Stage manager. He's like, well, I have a stage manager. I could be stage manager. Y'all, I have never stage managed a show in my life. But I wanted to work with the director and I want to work with the kids and introduce what I learned in my time in New York, musical theater, to now I'm working with these kids in LA teaching and training in musical theater. Um, but yeah, I got in there as a stage manager, did like studied the job, went online, Google, how do you operate as a stage, tips to become a stage man. I studied Beyonce stage manager. Like you got to look to the top people that are doing it, right? And study them. And then, yeah, I just went in, tried some things. They worked, they didn't work. Okay, cool, revised and like had to put in a little extra work, but it showed my dedication to the process and the experience. And now, years later, I've choreographed 4 shows.
Love that. I love that.
Yeah, so just you can get in where you fit in. Just remember what your goal is. Yeah, don't get like don't have to go through all these other things, but remember what the goal is. Stick to the goal, and at some point, be patient because you will get there.
Got it. Any
Yeah.
any final words, final life tips for the kids? Top two life tips.
Practice patience every day. every day. Like even on the things that you think you know should be happening. Remember, you do not know what's going. You don't know what's going on in other people's lives. You don't know what's going on in other businesses systems. Like when you get older, you don't know what people have going on in a moment. So with that, just practice patience with yourself. Practice patience with other people. Yes, practice patience on your goals, especially. Okay, you're gonna come across detours. It happens. Okay, but as long as you have your eye on the target, and keep going. But over time, everything's gonna quicken. Like for me, in the last 6 months, man, I can't even begin to explain how how accelerant things have been for my business or for the creative work that I'm doing. And I feel like I have been doing the last 10 years in like long spurts, right? It's happening to me now in such a faster pace because I think I've arrived to a point where after all that patience, I've arrived to a point where it's like the ball is just rolling downhill now.
Got it.
So yeah, you guys will get there. You
Got
guys will
it.
get there.
What is where does your name come from? Izzy. What's that coming from?
Izzy, yes. So my middle name is actually Izrye.el. So I shortened Izzy just to keep it simple for my students, keep it simple for my colleagues. With Jared, when I was younger, I used to have a hard time, I guess, enunciating my own name. So people would say Jared or Gerard or, just had all these different sounds for my name. And I say, forget it. One day they're going to call me Izzy. And so I recently introduced myself as such, and then I've been going with it ever since.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Before I forget, for those of you guys out there who are going through tough times, tough challenges, depression, suicidal thoughts, feel free to text home to 741-741. That is a national hotline 24/7. Someone will reach out and respond if you do need someone to talk to. Um, Other than that, all I ask is that if you're feeling generous, that you do consider supporting the community hotline. And that's our episode for you guys today. We'll catch you next time and have a good one. See ya.